Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Spectator mode, please. Okay, so we join in at the 25-second mark. Excuse me while I change these around real quick.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Okay. So into game 2. Seven Kingdoms again needs a win to stay alive in this set. Otherwise, set will go to the LoLdo faction and they will move up 1-0. Zyra getting caught out a little bit, but they don't really have any CC to lock her down yet, so... I mean, Jace technically could have flash E'd, but that probably wouldn't have worked out. So the invade is cancelled and they will just take the deep ward as usual. Whereas the purple team takes the opportunity to place a deep ward at the enemy red, so that should prove useful. Oh, and it looks like this time they're going for an invade. They're definitely going to look to harass them off the golems. Yeah, and here they go. The gold still ends up going to Tristana though, but that does delay them. And J4 will help himself to the rates. The rates of Zac. Oh, and it looks like they are going for the red. Okay. That's what the deep ward was for in the first place. And Zac's going to be forced to smite. We'll see where he goes. It looks like they don't even know that J4 is doing it, because if they did, Zac would have headed straight for J4's red. But J4 is going to get that for free. Oh, and is he going to look to jump? It looks like he's going to look to jump Zac when he shows up. Okay, there goes the gank on Jace. That's really going to cripple him. So already, the blue team not in a good spot. Zac is down a red buff. He's not going to have a chance to retaliate really either. And Seven Kingdoms lanes are already starting to fall behind in CS. Okay, up in the top lane, a little exchange right there. Whiffs the Q, that's big. Renekton basically got a bunch of free hits right there with no real punishment. Sona taking a bunch of damage, but because they're forced to hit her instead, that just means that they miss even more CS. And Tristana has a hell of a time hitting under tower at low levels. So that's not going to be good for her. She's already behind about 7, 8 CS it looks like. Yeah, about there. Oh, but in the mid lane, the flash gets cancelled out, it looked like, by the E. They're not going to be able to... Oh, okay. Ignite will do it. Very, very nice. Very nice. For a second, I thought that they were going to abandon it, but Jace made a good split-second decision. Ignite auto, more than enough to finish her off at that low level. J4 looks like he's going to try to pick up something. I don't think he can get anything, though. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get this. And Zac's gonna try to stick around for some experience, it looks like. Alright, so a quick 1-for-nothing. That's gonna help out Jace a lot. Jace opting for the Brutalizer Rush, not going for Tier. Wants to just do damage. Wants to make sure that he wins his lane and doesn't let up. But in the bottom lane, they are just continuing to get zoned out of experience and CS range. They are very scared. Playing very conservative. Top lane, the general making his rounds to top finally, but I don't think this is going to result in a kill. Kennen has E and Flash, and neither J4 or Renekton have ultimate, so they're going to go anyway though. It's probably going to be a Flash. Yeah, there's the Flash. But a good play from Sneaky. Just hit 6 while Kennen was still 5. So because of that, because of the ultimate, he was able to pick that up. So well timed. That's what happens when you get shoved up like that. You fall behind in experience and your opponent's gonna hit level 6 before you all the time. To make things worse, Sneaky barely survived. So they didn't even get a trade out of that. And Newman burned all his summoners too. So he's gonna have to play very careful now. That Brutalizer is gonna be bad news. Despite all of that, at the 7:20 mark, the game gold is very close. 1 kill to 1 kill. No dragons yet. Woo! Big damage right there. No no ult from Ezreal yet, not 6. That could have been a kill if he had ultimate. But it was not to be. They'll happily take the free push though, because Tristana definitely had to leave. It's just gonna deny Tristana of even more CS and experience anyway. And as you can see in top, Newman knows that he's behind. He has the creep advantage, but he can't really do anything with it. He can't invite Renekton to fight him. I mean, he has ult now, but Renekton's ult came back up already, so I don't think it would really help him too much. Renekton will gladly CS under tower at this point. In the mid lane, Zafe doing his best to stay ahead. He has a CS lead now, more than 10. And we have Zac coming in, potentially for a gank. He's gonna try and slingshot from over the wall, looks like. But they must know something's up, playing really far back. And blue just came up anyway, so it's a good excuse to get out of there. So Zac wasting a little bit of time. And it looks like King Newman freezing the lane at his tower, so Sneaky doing the smart thing, taking the golems while he's waiting. Nothing better to do anyway. Meanwhile, J4 taking his second red. And keep in mind that because he stole Zac's red as well, that's that much more experience and gold that he has right now. It's a pretty big deal. And the fact that it denied Zac a red buff was a really big deal as well for his ganks. But he has his red now, so they're gonna try and see if they can get a big all-in right here. See the pings coming out on bottom. Zac looks like he's gonna start moving into position. No, he's gonna just leave. Or is he not leaving? No, he's not leaving. He's changing his mind again, and this is giving J4 time to come up and get ready for the counter gank. Should be a pretty big fight if everything goes the way I think it's going to. Oh my. Everything burned on Sona. Sona not in any real danger of dying at this point, and yeah, the counter gank in full effect. Blue team needs to back out now. King Newman continuing to get harassed by Renekton, just bullying him around. He is chunked. And all of Renekton's summoners are up, so a dive is definitely feasible if he plays it right. Once again, for those of you that are just tuning in, this is Game 2 in the best-of-3 set between Seven Kingdoms on the blue, LoLdo faction on the purple. LoLdo faction is up 1 game already, so if they win this game, the set is theirs. Forcing the flash out from mid, that's always a good thing. They probably would have liked the kill right there, considering that Zach got a pretty good E in there, but Jace too far away. Yeah, Renekton recognizing as soon as Kennen's cooldowns are used, immediately goes in, knows that there's very little risk of a stun, barring like an ultimate. So Kennen really can't afford to stand and fight, he'll just have to run away. Renekton also having about a 16 CS lead. Very good spot for him. Zach looking to make a play. I don't know if they can though. If they do try it, it's very likely that they will trade. Just because of how strong Renekton is right now. Ultimate. Kennen gonna ult? Yes, he does. Just trying to get out of range, but... And in the bottom lane as well. Tristana gets the kill, and that's all well and good, but the General's gonna definitely clean that up, and Lulu's gonna have to run away. And oh my gosh, did he get a... Yes, he did, as I suspected. It actually turned out a lot worse than I suspected. Renekton coming out with the double kill. So that is definitely GG's for top lane. It's action going on all over the map. Couldn't really see everything at once, but from the looks of things before the camera moved, definitely looked like a double kill for Renekton. So well played by Sneaky. He's definitely gonna be immovable now. He's gonna be able to do as he pleases. And on top of all that, the dragon. So a huge momentum swing right there for the purple team. Jace really needs to get this wave into the tower. I would have liked to have seen him stay on it and possibly do some damage to it, but I guess the blue buff is up, so they want to secure that. With Renekton being so fed as he is, he could easily go down there with J4 and possibly contest it. Yeah, Kennen not even sticking around for anything. He knows that he just has to run away. Yeah, and it looks like Sato working on that blue Ezreal build already has the Lizard Elder finished. Continuing to stack the tier. We'll most likely see the Frozen Fist next. As Zac picks up his next red. See if he can make a play elsewhere. Hasn't really had any luck with ganking though. They've all turned sour more or less. With the one exception being when they got first blood. And I think that they might just look to dive this, maybe? They potentially could, but no. I thought that they were going to do it, but it looks like the general is just going to clear the wards. Not going to happen. More trades happening in bot lane. Definitely looking like it's favoring the purple team at this point, though. And in the mid lane, General finally gets a successful gank off. Zac there for the counter gank, but they're just going to have to settle for the 1v1. The 1-for-1, rather. Both junglers with dueling red buffs. Zac will get some much needed gold and experience right there. I would really like to see purple team make a move for a tower at some point. I think that they've shown much better coordination in those kind of things so far, so I'd like to see them go for maybe a 4-man on bottom sometime soon. Oh, it looks like Jace has opted to go for the Hex Drinker. That is very interesting. I expected him to just finish off the Manamune, but looks like he's a little worried about the Zyra damage, so just playing it safe. Going with a little more defensive build. Ping's going down on Sona. Looks like they want to kill her, but again, the general is there, and this is probably going to end up being messy if both teams decide to go for it. And the wave is going to reset, so that's going to be perfect gank opportunity. They pinked the bush, but they probably would have wanted to get vision in the next bush, because that's where the general is waiting. Alright, let's see what's gonna happen. Both junglers are posted up in opposite bushes. Here we go. Oh. Well, that was disappointing. Lulu kind of just face checks a little damage, and then both junglers back off. Yeah, both teams are not gonna go for it now. Tristana looks like she's building towards... I can't really tell what she's building towards. Most Tristanas do opt for the Infinity Edge. Could be Bloodthirster though, we shall see. But not a whole lot of action in a while since that trade in mid. Summoners are up pretty much all over the place, as well as ultimates, so we'll see which team makes the move next. The buffs are starting to respawn as well, so the lanes might take a quick reset while everybody goes to get those. Lulu trying to go back, but knows that they can't afford to leave the turret unprotected. Renekton continuing to pull away too up top. Up a Sunfire Cape and a Brutalizer, and about 40 CS or so. Where on the other hand, it looks like Jace is pulling even further away from Zyra. It's not really telling though, because he's been killing the plants a lot. and that's been counting towards his overall CS, so the gold difference probably isn't that big. Yeah, well, it's still pretty significant, but it's not as big as if those were all like actual minions. And it looks like Dragon is respawned, and the General has the timer. They're gonna go take it. This will be uncontested, 100%. Zac is nowhere near there for a smite steal, and there are 4 people from the purple team, so that will go down free. Lulu eats a little bit of damage going toward the try, and there goes the top tower. As I predicted, with Renekton being so far ahead, that was inevitable. Kennen does have his Zhonya's though, so that is a very good item for him. He'll be able to potentially make some plays now. In the meantime, Renekton with Merc Treads and Black Cleaver, top of the Sunfire Cape, so he is very big right now. And he's either going to go down mid at some point or he's going to go down to bottom. And then when that happens, I predict that the towers will start to fall. Good on the blue team to get mid though, that is a very important tower. Jace was winning that lane to begin with, so it's good that they finished that off. Helps keep the gold relatively close. About a 2k deficit now. Renekton getting caught out, but he's so enormous right now that they can't really do anything to him. He's just gonna eat all that damage and just walk it off. And it looks like Renekton is sticking around bottom, so it's gonna force blue team to either forfeit the tower or they're gonna have to send a lot of people down there. Try to fight them. Zac with a fairly early Oracles. Considering that Oracles runs out now, it's a very big risk in gold. We'll see if that helps him or hurts him, because he is clearing out a decent amount of wards. So he's getting a lot of his money back. A lot of pinks too. Looks like Sneaky has decided to head back to top, whereas Kennen is still bottom. This is going to be a full 3-on-3 fight. Tristana way out of position, and she's going to go down. That was really bad. That turned out really bad. Yeah, luckily Tristana just kind of died right away. An extended fight with Jace being able to join them might not have been too good for them. Jace is pretty strong right now. Nice flash over the roots, but Zyro also expend her flash to neutralize that. So nothing will come of that. Those are precious summoners though that will not be up for a while. And it looks like the LoLdo faction has indeed taken advantage of the fact that they are winning overall on the map, taking the bottom turret finally. Zac forced to head up top to just get the creeps off the tower. And Renekton is not really interested in leaving, he just wants to stick around. Takes a chunk off of Flubber right there. Oh, but he finds another ward at least. So that Oracle turning out to be okay. He's catching a lot of wards with it, but not really creating opportunities for ganks. Although at this point it's understandable, being that that the ganks are just not working out because, one, because of the general always being there, and just the lack of coordination in general. Okay, so it looks like they're finally starting to send multiple people up to deal with Renekton. There's 3 of them. I don't know if they're gonna move anywhere after taking the blue to stop him. Yeah, it looks like they might be trying to get a shutdown on Renekton. And now he sees that there's 3 people. Oh, Kennen didn't get a stun off though. That's very unfortunate. So Renekton will just walk away for free. Didn't even have to burn ultimate. He popped his ghost, but they probably would have wanted to either kill him or get him to burn everything with 3 people there.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And yet another blue team turret falls. This time it's their mid. So all the outers are down now for 7 Kingdoms. And now they have the LoLdo faction has secured about a 4 to 5k gold lead. It's not the be-all end-all lead yet, but if last game was any indication, it's the beginnings of a slippery slope. The next couple fights are probably going to decide everything. And it looks like the LoLdo faction will help itself to yet another dragon, possibly? It look like they're waiting for it. And it has indeed respawned. Zac is nowhere near it right now, so they might just go for it. Yeah, I think they're just going to help themselves to it. Oh, actually, they haven't started it yet. They could potentially be waiting to bait them into a fight. Now that they have all 5 there, they're gonna go for it. Yeah, and once again, blue team just not in position. And the general not really interested in trying to catch Kennen right there. Just gonna take their money and leave. So now a definite 5k advantage. Some of the good things though that are going well for 7 Kingdoms is Jace has his Muramana now. So he is at a good point right now, still very much ahead of in gold compared to the opposing mid. They can't really wait too long though. Ezreal has a lot of items already. He has his Frozen Fist, Muramana, as well as Elder Lizard. Tristana did go for the Infinity Edge as I predicted, working on the Phantom Dancer. Very close to finishing it actually. So that should be good for her. They're gonna need that. They're gonna need Tristana to be the hyper carry that she can be. It's all gonna depend on their ability to team fight together. If they are uncoordinated, then most likely Renekton will probably just tear up everybody. Because Renekton has a lot of items right now. Very tanky now. Lots of health and defenses to go with it. In the meantime, the general has also been putting in a lot of work. With he has the Aegis Locket combo. They're gonna be very hard pressed to insta jib anyone in team fights now. With all those auras and shields. Oh, and it looks like Sniper Worm has also picked up an Oracle, so he will be sweeping soon, robbing them of even more vision. Looks like the LoLdo faction has their sights set on mid, and they're gonna go for it. They're gonna attempt to do the counter engage, but they are just getting destroyed. It's just so much AoE right now. 4 members of 7 Kingdoms chunked, so they're gonna have to evacuate immediately. And this is gonna give the LoLdo faction a free push on mid. Jace will probably not be able to hold this by himself. Yeah, and there it goes. Oh wow, the general going hard. That might have been a little overzealous, but Seven Kingdoms didn't respond anyway, so gets out scot-free. Looks like Seven Kingdoms is going to try to use this opportunity to potentially get a counter push off. Oh wow. So Seven Kingdoms is going for a very desperate Baron. Very poor chosen, I think. LoLdo faction is already in position. And the general steals it. I saw that coming. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And now Seven Kingdoms is scattering. And yeah, they just need to get out. So that's even more free gold. Oh, that was a real awkward flash. Soul Seizures didn't instantly cast something as soon as he flashed. But nonetheless, LoLdo faction will say thanks for the free Baron, and they'll take all that gold and regen and take a free inhibitor on top of that. That's slippery slope I was talking about. The desperate Barons did not work out, and that they pretty much they're pretty much all but out of it at this point. It's just gonna be another slow roll where they're just gonna keep losing ground in turrets, and then their base is just gonna get so smothered in creeps that they're not gonna be able to do anything. Slight skirmish in the mids, but I don't think either side's gonna be able to get anything. Oh, never mind. Jace goes back in. Like, I don't think... Huh. That's really weird. Sato. It looked like he eat into a Kennen shuriken. But yeah, Jace went in because he was like, oh man, I better save my teammate. Luckily they were able to trade for that. Renekton popping ultimate. See if that's enough. Does not have Ghost, but his team is there. And that is just an enormous bait. One goes down. Zack's gonna go down. No passive to save him. That's going to be another inhibitor turret. 4 dead right now. The general wants the ace. Dragon Strike. And he gets it. Yep. Yeah, this game is falling way out of the hands of Seven Kingdoms. So I believe that is 2 inhibitors down. There's really not a whole lot to say at this point. The laning phase went well for the LoLdo faction, and now the post laning phase is going just as well, if not better. All the fights are turning into 3-for-0s, 4-for-0s. It's just Seven Kingdoms can't catch a break. And it doesn't look like the LoLdo faction is going to be in any mood to make any mistakes or give them any unneeded kills. I'm curious if they're actually going to try to dive this. Looks like Baron buff has expired though, so we'll see if that affects their decisions. I mean, like I said, their base is starting to get so smothered in creeps though. You have Sneaky pushing up on the top side, getting 2 2 waves of super creeps in at the same time. It's just eventually they're gonna have to send more than one person to deal with that, and it's probably gonna have to be the AD carry, honestly, because their base is just getting wrecked. Yep, and as soon as they send another person, the last inhibitor will go down for free. And now the LoLdo faction could choose to either keep going, or they could go back to shop, because they're honestly sitting on probably a good amount of gold. Yeah, everybody has at least 4 digits. But no, it looks like they're going to just try to end the game here. Big triple kill for Zyra right there. Yeah, this is over. This game is beyond over. Pack it up. 7 Kingdoms. I was rooting for you guys, but you guys gotta pack it up. It's over. LoLdo faction takes it 2-0. GG, well played. Okie dokie. So that about wraps it up for week 1 of the Esports Hawaii League of Legends Summer League. So hope you guys enjoyed that. The replays will be up soon on youtube.com/LoLdo. Until then, look forward to next week. I'll have the matches posted as soon as possible. And this is DarkM. Take it easy.